go straight back to the UN General Assembly in New York, where the representative of Jordan is currently speaking.
It is adopted, and it's essential to emphasize that in the event of the adoption, ES-10 would only be temporarily adjourned immediately following the conclusion of the debate. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished representative of Jordan. The representative of Jordan has moved that the debate on agenda item 5 be suspended at 3 p.m. today for the Assembly to proceed to the consideration of draft resolution A/ES10/L25, and that the debate would continue after the action on the draft resolution. It is my understanding that, without setting a precedence, and given the urgency of the issue, if the Assembly were to decide to suspend the debate on agenda item 3, at 3 p.m., for the Assembly to proceed to the consideration of draft resolution A/ES10/L25, and to continue the debate after the action on draft resolution, and if the Assembly were to adopt the draft resolution later today, that the 10th emergency special session would be adjourned temporarily following the conclusion of the debate on item 5. Is there any objection to the motion? It is so decided. Before proceeding further, I wish to address the question concerning the majority required for the adoption of the draft resolution. In light of Article 18, paragraphs 2 and 3 of the Charter of the United Nations, is there any objection to taking action on draft resolution A/ES10/L25 by a 2/3 majority of the members present and voting? I see no objection. The 2/3 majority of members present and voting is therefore required for the adoption of draft resolution A/ES10/L25. The 2/3 majority of members present and voting is therefore also required for the adoption of any amendment to the draft resolution. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
You're listening to proceedings at the United Nations General Assembly. We're going to break down everything that's happening for you. We have Al Jazeera's correspondent Gabriel Elizondo, who is standing by at UN headquarters in New York. And we've got the pleasure of having Al Jazeera's diplomatic editor, James Bays, with us in the studio. Gabe, I'll start with you. We listened to the last few minutes of proceedings. Explain to us what we heard. The speaker was saying the debate on the draft resolution on the Gaza war will be suspended, if I'm getting all this right, at 3 p.m. They're speaking Eastern time, so that's in over 4 hours. The debate will be suspended, and I believe that's when they would then proceed to a vote. But run us through the steps.
Yeah, that's right. Essentially what happened here was a procedural maneuver here. So let me just explain it. Today, there are more than 100 countries on the list that want to speak about this resolution. That could go on for a very long time on Friday, perhaps even into Saturday. So what the Jordanian ambassador did, who is sponsoring this resolution with 43 co-sponsors, is he asked the president of the Security Council, no matter where we're at 3 p.m. local time, that's 19 GMT, can we please request to stop the debate and take a vote at that time? With no objections, the president of the General Assembly, as you just heard, said yes. So essentially what you have here is pretty simple. They're basically saying we're going to go on with the debate. We'll go on hearing from speakers. But at 3 p.m. local, 19G will stop and we'll take a vote. That's essentially what just happened here in the General Assembly building.
What does the vote then look like? So it'll be at 19 GMT, just over, I said 4, it's actually over 5 hours from now. What would that vote look like? I don't mean the results. I just mean what are we going to be seeing at that point?
Well, unlike the Security Council, where in the Security Council, when votes are taken, the ambassadors simply raise their hand, yes or no, or raise their hand if they want to abstain. Here in the General Assembly, there are 193 members. It's a lot of countries represented here, of course, the entire United Nations body, if you will. So when votes are taken in the General Assembly, it's done electronically. There's a big screen where all of the display of all the votes are put on a big screen, either green voting for, red voting against, or abstaining. All the ambassadors have and representatives have something they can click to register their vote. It's very simple, it's pretty quick, and it's very transparent. So we'll get the vote totals very quickly after the vote is called.
Gabriel, thank you very much.